Hey guys, today is December 18, 2020, and I woke up with really minimal toothache. Now it's starting to rise, and I decided, yes, I feel inspired. Yes, I have this window of time without much pain, and yes, I'm gonna do about something. What was coming into my mind for some time, I simply did not have time to work on it because of pain. But I'll tell you how my mind works. So, for example, I will get some data on the internet and or from the live, and many times it will work in the background. And then, if subject is complicated as this one, it will come to the consciousness number of times, and I'll deal with it, but it will go back when I'm dealing with something else. And right now, in like 20 minutes ago, I was walking up and down my room thinking about something, and then two light bulbs like kind of appeared in my mind. One was Armenian genocide, 1516, and Signs by the Road, because I was thinking about that, how that happened, and because it's important topic. And another topic is the BLM and mm, and the violence happening in America, and now weird situation. I'm president. No, I'm president, right? However, is that going to be solved? That's. So those two things as a science by the road, and of course it's always connected with my personal memories from my life, also when road science been happening, and so let me get to the point. So intro is that most of you, of course, probably know that in 1915-16, Turkey killed 1.5 million Armenians out of 2 million. They did not kill all 2 million of them because 500,000 at that time lived in Russia, in today's Armenia mostly, and all over Russia. So they launched genocide where they simply picked up all of them and took them to boats, throw them in Black Sea, cut their throats, threw them over the rocks, killed them like in a brutal manner, and took all their property. Now they're denying it on national level. So that thing that happened in 1950s and 16, it was not like, I call it German hippie logic in Yugoslavia. Oh, Yugoslavia was so beautiful country. I was drinking beer, and eating cevapcici, and suddenly war. Well, yes, for idiot in the flip flops. But you see what was happening in Armenia before. So of course, Armenia was occupied by the Turkey, same as my country. They committed genocide there, as absolutely everybody, because that's their nature of Turks and Kurds and etc. But what happened is that, talking about that timeline, like 10, 20 years before that, in 1909, they had like one big massacre when one whole town got massacred by the Turks and Kurds. And they still participated in elections 1912. You understand me? And genocide happened 1516. They elections, however, that democratic was in that society. You understand me? Almost middle-aged Turkey 100 years ago. But I've been told that they had elections, so I'm telling you. So before that, in 1870s and later on, they also had whole towns burned because they had Turkish and Kurdish militias like exterminating Armenians. So it was not like they killed like 500 of us and everything's gonna be okay. They like kill like tens of thousands. You understand me? Mass pillage, mass rape. Turks, doing psychopathic shit on people. So nothing was new under the sun. But yet, people went into line and went into desert and got killed by hammers and spikes and so on. So now let's talk about our time, right? Point is, things never happen, just happen. You can have a road signs. 10,000 dead, 20,000 dead, 900 dead, only 500 dead in that place at that time of Armenians, before that. So, it's leading to somewhere, right? Logic, logic. 1, 2, 3, after that 4, after that 5. So, Black Lives Matter and the whole thing happening in the States follows absolutely the same pattern. Those elephants in the room, they're so big, they're so violent, you can't talk about. So now let's recapitulate. This summer, apart from the corona, what we had in States is that we had, from my perspective, elephant in the room, walking down the American cities, burning hundreds upon hundreds of shops and businesses. Dozens of people got murdered. And at the end of the process, the powers that be simply, those 1 in 100 police captured during these hate riots, they simply released them. So, if this is not a road sign which is telling you this, I'm gonna be brutally honest here. People of my class, targeted individuals, ethnic Croats from Croatia, you understand me? We never had human rights as middle class people, especially in Western world, had. We never had a right that somebody done something to you very bad and you had money and connections so you can take it to the court. It was mission impossible here, always, for most of the people. It does not exist as an option. You don't have money, you don't have connections, it's very corrupt, you just don't. Okay. But in states, through all the corruption and everything, for a certain class of people, starting from middle and up, let's say for maybe 30-40% of the America, that legal system actually worked, and that's a big thing, because justice absolutely never existed anywhere on this planet. It was never about justice, it was all about who has the more power, that one wins, right? Money, connections, guns, you understand me? Connections with the drug lords who are running the show, meaning state, all of it. So, that's how it works. In this stage, now, that privileged part of America, sorry about that, but if you live in that kind of system that you can actually have legal protection, you're fucking privileged, okay? So, that kind of America now starts thinking, if legal system cannot protect me, can my AR protect me? Answer is unfortunately cannot, because you are not hit by the gang, okay? You've been hit by the state. So difference between state and a gang is, gang, they can burn one town in 1909. And then they're gonna move away. And then people are gonna think, you know what, things calm down. We're still doing business with them. They're still buying in our shops. We're still paying benefits. That benefits are kind of coming to us when they're buying our stuff. But as a Croat who survived one genocide, although observing it from like 80 kilometers away, you dig me, but I was there and then in 90s here. I can tell you that things never just stop. When aggressors, okay, when I call them psychopaths, narcissists, borderlines, and some estimates are like that 30% of the young people in certain parts, certain universities in states is at least borderline narcissistic. And you have, unfortunately, 13% of population doing 52% of crime or even more. In some cases, all the rapes are black and white. Okay, so I'm not gonna go into something about the elephant. We all know the elephant, and we can't talk about statistics because that's of course racist. And and you see that psychopaths are already very well into the process. So my point is that as I understand the process, and you already concluded what I'm gonna say, that this guy is gonna come for life. This guy is gonna come for life, and I'm gonna tell you why they're gonna come for life. Because they smell blood. You understand me? They smell blood, they smell weakness. Now it's like, yo, give me my reparations money. Now when they're robbing white guy on the street, now and burning shops, this is like reparation money. So this is like another level of psychopathy. It's like lack of personal space, a lack of feeling for us personal dignity, a lack of compassion, rationalization. When you have a brutal group, you got it. Okay, you got it. So you need to prepare yourself at this point. This is also going from my people here. We are also not in that case a kind of a press that we have. Well, in Međimurje it's happening between Roma, Gypsies, and Croats. That thing, but not all over the area, really. So when you're in that kind of situation, I think it's time to sit first alone and then with members of your family who are sober enough. Because people who abuse drugs, they have problems with understanding the roads, understanding signs. So, I think you should sit calmly and think what to do if shit hits the fan. What to do if they arrive en masse and now decide, fuck with looting stores, let's burn the whole neighborhood. We got away with 10 corpses, we can get away with 500. Okay? What to do then? You really need to start thinking and preparing about that, because that's exactly how it goes. I mean, that's exactly how it went here in the 80s and the 90s. First, you had police brutality. It was ethnic on ethnic thing, right? And now I'm apologizing, my Serbian friends, but I'm talking about certain time which really did happen here. We thought that all police officers are Serbs. When Croatian Conservative Party took power in 1990, we've been surprised. I was surprised that it's only 67%. 67%. In my town, I thought everybody. So, it was absolutely common that if Serb doesn't like you on private level, he will just smear you to a family member. You will be arrested. You will be taken to the police station for questioning. You will be just beaten. Maybe he's gonna be there, to get you the idea who's the boss in the town. And this is how it worked. It worked like maybe in some other countries as in before, when a certain group controlled another group. That's, guys, how it went. But it went from one stage to another. Political murders, and then in 1991, first, small villages got burned completely with people. After that, towns. After that, you heard, what was happening. My generation, everybody been shocked. I was shocked. Nobody really believed that they're gonna start doing mass fucking murder. It was all like, yeah, oni su policija, oni su vojska, oni su država, ali ono je dobro i nama. Yeah, they're police, they are army, they are the state, but we are doing okay, like. Now it was like, fuck, they're coming after us, all of us. So, you always have an aggressive, entitled group which is connected with the powers that be, which is bullying others. This time is BLM and feminists and Antifa and communists. These guys back in 1930s were fascists. They were, again, communists. Doesn't matter how they call themselves. We know them as psychopaths, we know them as narcissists, we know them as borderlines, we know them as victims of these guys, which are schizophrenics, which are borderline schizophrenics, functioning schizophrenics, which is a great deal of society. If you like, in psychology, this is like very old term. I picked it up from a very old book. It was called in 19th century the Österreichische Rede, the Austrian talk in the 19th century. This was the talk of the, Austrian, Austro-Hungarian monarchy. Austrians were, of course, in their monarchy privileged, like Serbs in their monarchy and state. And Austrian was like that. He would start rationalizing why things are as they are, and his logic was disconnected. Like we have right to do that because our king is us, so our king. But don't we have other rights? Well, yes, but it's like whatever. People always rationalize why they're in the power. We are the best part of the evolution. We are whatever. We have higher culture, whatever. So, and then you start comparing him with and nothing makes sense. So anyway, I don't want to offend here anybody. I'm just mentioning some things. So yeah, maybe I offended Österreicher. It simply came on my mind. Don't feel offended, please. You have enough problems in your country now, and Österreichische Rede is not one of those. We all heard what happened in Vienna recently, and it's gonna happen again. Not because I have crystal ball, but because I know statistics. And again, BLM, of course, their lives matter, not ours, right? So, okay, this was very long talk about something I was talking about, but at least I was, I was actually venting myself, what's bothering me, and you guys, you do your best, you understand me. Prepare your supplies, prepare medical kits you need. Do your gardens. Voltaire said in one book, one needs to do his garden. It's a long story now, but il faut avoir il jardin. On doit cultiver le jardin. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, if you have a jardin, if you have a garden, cultivate it. If you don't, you should have one. It's a nice experience when you put your hands in the dirt. And I don't really have like a proper garden, but the place where I meditate, there are these little bushes, and I trim dead branches, and it really relaxes me. And I pick up the garbage in the area, and it's really, spiritual. You understand me? When you maintain a certain space clean and safe, and so cultivate it, because from cultivation comes the word culture, koleren, to cultivate the plant. Because if you cultivate the plant, you can cultivate the mind. If you cultivate the mind, you can cultivate the group, the nation. And unfortunately, this is the war between those of us who are cultivated, who can reason, and those of us who simply don't understand that their dogs don't have a right to bite us. Everything is connected. As psychopathy is rising, of course, that incidents like my dog has this right to run between 10-story buildings and chase people like you, is that attitude. Of course, it's rising. Everything is connected. The forces of darkness are rising, and the forces of light should also rise to the occasion. And sometimes when you have a problem with the horn viper, and when you stumble upon that horn viper which was giving you an attitude before, when you stumble with it with a bird in its mouth, I think it's okay to finish it, because horn viper can't bite you, even in a theory. So it's one little thing I learned from the nature when I stumbled upon one horn viper again, because I tend to meditate in the area which is full of horn vipers and other snakes. So this is one of those reasons why people don't stumble on these rocks where I'm there, because it's a known biotope for snakes. It has both stones, limestones, and a forest, and they like this area to hunt and also to relax. So learn from the nature. Learn from the nature. After all, it's only fight for the territory and the resources. You can also view it that this way. And groups have invested interest to take territory from other groups. This time, we whites in Europe, we whites in America, we are a group under the attack. And that's what's happening. So you either gonna defend yourself and rise to the occasion, or you're simply gonna allow to be burned in your town, like Armenian in 1909 or 1516. And for the end, not to forget to say, unfortunately and shamefully, my country, Croatia, is in NATO alliance, and it is connected with the genocidal regime of Turkey. And unfortunately, technically speaking, my military, my establishment is establishment who's allied with the establishment who just murdered so many Armenians in their territory of a people who existed, who've been old people already in the Bible. Already in the Bible, it was known that whole this eastern Turkey and Iran, whole that western Iran, whole that area, Baku was Armenian. So I just want to finish with this. You guys need to understand that what's happening now is not just a easy one little war. It's just it's a continuous war of extermination of Turkic Muslim people against Christian Armenian people. And these are also road signs. And these people who are now they're killing, these are the survivors of genocide. That 500,000 who survived the war simply because they were under Russian protection. Now they're going after them. Okay, so and we are friends and allies with those motherfucking psychopathic assholes who destroyed Syria with their ISIS armies, one brigade after another. Sick shit.